Welcome back, everyone, to TTG New Zealand Fest. We're so grateful that you have come back and joined us. Apologies profusely for the tech issues we've experienced today. As you hopefully know, that's a bit of a first for us, but we are working very hard behind the scenes to make sure it doesn't happen again. But yes, thank you. I'm joined here by Shubra Halliday, Sales Director of Anzcro, and Luke Ingram, who is their Sales Manager for the UK. They're going to introduce you to Anzcro's New Zealand holidays that showcase the destination's best bucket list experiences. And just another reminder to answer the questions in the polls tab for the chance to win prizes, and ask your questions in the chat box. It looks like Lily's already doing a great job of answering lots of those. But any questions on the session as we go through it, then please do leave them in there, and either me or Shubra and Luke will try and address those as we go along. But we will put a little bit of time at the end as well, specifically for questions. So thanks so much, guys. Over to you, Shubra and Luke. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And listen, guys, thanks for your patience. And good morning, good afternoon. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Luke, and I'm the sales manager from Anzcro. I look after the north of the UK, and I'm joined by my lovely colleague, Shubra. She's our sales director who looks after the south of the UK. Hi, Shubra. Just before we kick off, I just thought I'd give you a little bit of background about myself, because I've been with Anzcro for roughly about 6 months now, and honestly, I've loved every single minute of it. As you can probably tell, I grew up in the tropical paradise of Leeds, but I spent 11 years living in New Zealand and working in the tourism industry. So listen, it's fantastic to be back now in the UK, living in sunny Cheshire, where I get to talk about my favourite place every single day. And I'm sure that any of you that have been to New Zealand, you agree that New Zealand is just a place that you never stop loving. And, both me and Shubra are excited to share some of that magic with you today. Perfect. So for you guys on the call that don't know Anzcro, we're the specialists in tailor-making holidays to New Zealand and Australia and South Pacific. But, we work exclusively with travel agents like yourselves. Whether it's a romantic getaway, an adventurous family holiday, or a scenic escape for retired nature lovers, Anzcro craft bespoke itineraries that match every client's unique needs and interests. And as you can see on the screen here, we are a privately owned family-run business. We started 30 years ago as a generic retail travel agency, and then we quickly evolved, finding a gap in the market to be an Australia, New Zealand specialist. Still to this day, as it's family-run. So Peter Guthrie, who started the business, retired, and his son Nick is our CEO, who's based in the head office in the Gold Coast. And Nick's brother Andrew is mine and Shubra's boss, and he runs the UK arm, and he's based out of London. We do have offices, obviously, in New Zealand, Australia, and the UK, which is instrumental. If you have clients that are traveling with us, if anything goes wrong, if they need to speak to somebody when they're the other side of the world, they've got a ground team they can speak to, and that is worth its weight in gold. So especially with the time difference, and we are your one-stop shop for your dream trip to Australasia. And as I mentioned, we work directly with travel agencies only, so we're just here for the trade. So very just quickly what we cover. I mean, to be honest, it's probably easier for me to tell you what we don't offer at Anzcro. As you can see on the screen there, we offer everything from accommodation, rental cars, motorhomes, rail journeys. We've got cruise shore excursions on there as well. And recently we've just started green contracts, direct contracts with cruise lines as well. So, we are just the one-stop shop for your complete package when you're traveling to Australia, New Zealand. Oops. So today's presentation, we're going to give you a little taste of what's possible in New Zealand. We're going to walk you through 3 different traveller types. We're going to show you a few highlights that we would recommend for each, but please keep in mind that these are just highlights. There is so much more that we can include in a full itinerary, but these are just some of my hidden gems and highlights I would highly recommend for these demographics. Shubra's going to be asking some questions, and then I'm going to go through and highlight some key experiences along the way. You'll see some stunning images and videos, unfortunately without any sound, but you'll see some images and videos to give you a real feel for what we're talking about. So, Shubra.
If I am a client, what would you suggest in that middle age group between 40 and 60 would be a great area to see for nature within a 3.5 week kind of holiday around New Zealand?
All right, perfect. So listen, for nature-loving travellers that have got plenty of time, New Zealand's South Island offers some awe-inspiring natural beauty in the world. And when we talk about South Island and natural beauty, there's only one place that immediately jumps to mind for me, and that's Doubtful Sound, also known as the Sound of Silence. Much less crowded than Milford, so your clients enjoy this undisturbed, serene experience. However, I've been lucky enough to see many places in the world, but Doubtful is one place that when I went there, it just completely blew my mind. It's 3 times longer and 10 times larger than Milford Sound, and there's not as many operators operate there. You get for a day cruise, you get a 3-hour cruise on there. However, for these clientele, I would highly recommend an overnight cruise on Doubtful Sound. They call it the creme de la creme of the experiences in Fiordland in New Zealand, and quite rightly so. You get a full 24 hours to explore the fjord, and because there's not many boats and because it's so big, you really do connect with nature. Wildlife is absolutely stunning. You've got the dramatic scenery, and just the sheer tranquility of the area is absolutely unbelievable. When you do the cruise, I always remember the captain takes you into a little arm of Doubtful Sound, and he turns off the engines, gets everybody onto the viewing deck, and just says to everybody, for 2 minutes, nobody talk, nobody take any pictures. And it's kind of cheesy when I say this out loud, but honestly, you just really connect with nature. All you can hear is the waterfalls and the birds and the trees, and obviously it's just absolutely incredible. And you kind of step away from Doubtful Sound, realizing you've been in a real special, untouched part of the world. So absolutely highly recommend that. And it is absolutely magical to wake up surrounded by like the mist-covered mountains in Doubtful. Next up, Stewart Island. So Stewart Island is New Zealand's 3rd largest island, but I feel like it's a well-kept secret. Not many people venture there, but I don't know why, because it is absolutely incredible. It's you've got plenty of options there for nature lovers and wildlife. One of them is Ulva Island. So Ulva Island over in Stewart Island is obviously a separate island there, but it's a predator-free bird sanctuary. Where native birds like the rare saddleback and the kiwi absolutely thrive. Speaking of kiwi, this is one of the few places in New Zealand where you can actually see a kiwi in its natural habitat. And for bird watchers or anyone looking to connect with New Zealand's unique wildlife, it is an unforgettable experience. And again, I was lucky enough to do this when I was in New Zealand. And, walking through Ulva Island, the birds come so close to you because obviously there's no natural predators. They get very close to your feet. And I remember one experience on there when I got through the forest and got onto the beach on the other side. I got packed lunch, a picnic lunch I was having, and out of the water I saw something coming. I was like, what's coming out of the water? Something coming towards me. And it was a leopard seal, and it literally was about 20, 30 meters away from me. Like a dog, it just kind of nestled itself into the sand and went to sleep. And it was just like a surreal experience. And the guys there were just saying, obviously, don't get too close because they can run pretty fast if they go for them. But it was just an amazing experience. And spotting the kiwis in the wild, there's a tour that you can do on Stewart Island. And obviously, they're nocturnal creatures. So you go over the red light that doesn't disturb them, and you can just see them scurrying around on the beach in the bushes. So just, little things that I'll always take away with me, just such incredible places to go. But for this demographic, I would highly, highly recommend Stewart Island as a stop. And then we're going to the top of the South Island. So I just highly recommend going to Nelson and the Abel Tasman National Park. So Abel Tasman's coastal track is one of the most accessible great walks, offering like gentle hikes through lush rainforests along golden beaches, and kayaking the coast and going to see the famous split apple rock. Kiwis are quite renowned for their simpleness when they're naming things, and they call it split apple rock because that rock you can see there looks like an apple that's been split. Quite simple. And obviously when in the Bay of Islands, you can go on a boat trip to the Hole in the Rock, which literally is just a hole in the rock. And Hot Water Beach is a beach that's got hot water. So they keep things simple there, but obviously quite easy to remember. But this place is just absolutely incredible. And as you're doing these walks, quite often you're going to see seals and dolphins just in the bay. And some of the beaches in this region absolutely do 100% rival those of Australia. The white sandy beach is absolutely amazing. And again, they kind of go under the radar when we talk about beaches in New Zealand. And then finally, for this demographic, a trip across the Southern Alps aboard the Transalpine train, which goes from Greymouth to Christchurch or vice versa, and is an absolute must for any scenic traveller. It is often referred to as one of the world's great train journeys, and with views of the towering mountains, like these deep gorges, the pristine rivers, it's the perfect way to round off a scenic itinerary. So I do have a short video. I'm just going to quickly show you a map. Apologies. So just because I appreciate if you've not been to New Zealand, I can talk about these regions and you're probably going to think, where the hell are they? But so what we just, obviously, hopefully you can see my cursor there. So Milford, we've got Doubtful Sound is in the vicinity down here. Obviously, we've got Stewie that's down here. And then we've just talked about the Abel Tasman National Park, which is up in this vicinity. And the Transalpine train runs from Christchurch through to Greymouth across Arthur's Pass. So I'm just going to show a quick video. Like I say, I might not show the whole video because I do apologise for that there's no sound. I don't want to sing to you guys. I wouldn't do that to you. It's just to give you a quick perception of the scenery around this, because it is such an incredible train journey. It takes about 3 hours. And it's not like a sleeper train or anything like that. You can choose for a lunch option if you like, or you can just obviously take your own sandwiches and lunch across. But it's just, there's plenty of viewing decks, and it does do a couple of stops, so you can get out and take a few pictures and selfies along the way. I was lucky enough to drive this a couple of times as well. It's quite a strenuous drive because the roads are kind of windy, but just absolutely amazing. Probably the most spectacular drive I've ever done in my life. Cool. There we go. Perfect. Right, Shubra, over to you.
Well, love is in the air. So, what do you suggest for a romantic, a honeymoon, special occasion, celebration, holidays, anniversary, couple wanting to see a bit of New Zealand on their holiday?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Listen, for couples looking for romance and stunning landscapes, New Zealand offers so many dreamy locations. What I would do is, a place that I called home for many, many years, Auckland has got a bit of everything for everybody. But, why not start off with a private sailing experience on the Hauraki Gulf in Auckland? I just imagine yourself or your clients cruising past islands, enjoying a glass of wine as the sun sets over the horizon. It's just such a romantic and unique way to experience Auckland's beautiful coastline. It is known as the City of Sails, and just from the picture on the right there, you can sort of see that every single day you've got people heading out in their sailboats. So it's pretty, such a great city. I absolutely love Auckland. And from there, there's a ferry ride over to Wahiki Island. It's an absolute must. Wahiki Island is all about indulgence. From vineyard tours, boutique stays, beautiful beaches. You can if you've got a car, you can take a car ferry over. If you're just on foot, you can take the foot ferry over. It takes about 45 minutes from Auckland city centre. There's plenty of accommodation options on there, but the main people go over there is to indulge in the wine. So it's apparently it's got its own microclimate. So even if it's just in the background that picture, you can see Auckland, but apparently if it's cloudy in Auckland, it could be beautiful on Wahiki. But yeah, it's such an amazing place. It's there's a reason why it's called the land of wine. Often we'd go for the day and we'd do probably 3 or 4 different vineyards. Unfortunately, I only remember the first 2. Never remember the last 2, but there's plenty of them on there. And like I say, the beaches are just absolutely stunning as well. This one here is from Stony Ridge, probably one of my favourites. Amazing, but absolutely. And just to give you a bit of perception of where Wahiki Island is, you've got Auckland City here, and this is Wahiki Island here. So, when we talk about a little island, it's not actually that little, it is quite big. But, like I say, there's taxis on there, there's buses, it's very accessible once you get onto the island. And then for relaxation, Rotorua, again, can tick a lot of boxes for you. But, Rotorua's Polynesian Spa, offers geothermal hot pools, overlooking Lake Rotorua. It's like the perfect place for couples to unwind and rejuvenate. You could even try the famous mud baths. They're absolutely great for your skin. I used to use these quite often, actually. And would you believe I'm actually going to be celebrating my 60th birthday very soon? So they definitely work, apparently. But yeah, no, it's absolutely amazing. And if you are in Rotorua, and you can go to another area which is about an hour away, and it's Lake Taupo. So Lake Taupo is a little bit more laid back. There's plenty of walks there. There's plenty more thermal pools, and obviously it doesn't have the smell of the sulphur there. But that kind of vicinity is plenty for a romantic couple to get involved with. But then when it comes to scenic highlights, you want to head to the self-proclaimed eighth wonder of the world, Milford Sound. So Milford Sound is absolutely incredible. If you've got clients heading there, they're probably gonna want to go see Milford Sound, absolutely. And what I would always recommend for Milford Sound, because it is very busy if you're going to do a day trip, but I would always recommend, especially for this demographic, is doing an overnight cruise on Milford. So staying overnight in the fjord means you'll experience the fjord in its most peaceful when the daytime visitors have gone. So you go at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and you come back before 9 a.m. in the morning before the day trippers start again. So just watching the sunset and sunrise from the deck of the boat, surrounded by these sheer cliffs of waterfalls. It's a deeply romantic experience. And what I would highly recommend is, even if your clients are self-driving or however they're getting around, either from Queenstown or from Tiano, I would recommend jumping on a coach to get there, because the drive to Milford, honestly, is probably just as beautiful as the cruise on Milford Sound itself is. Milford Road has been voted one of the most beautiful roads in the world many of times, and it is amazing. Once you do get there, obviously all the coaches that you travel on, they've got plenty of leg room. They've got glass roofs so you can see the peaks of the mountains along the way. Absolutely amazing. Do the overnight cruise, and if your clients have the budget to do, I would fly back. So it'd be flying back to Queenstown. Doesn't quite take the 3.5, 4 hours that it would on the coach to get back to Queenstown. It only takes about 30 to 45 minutes when you fly, weather dependent. But it just gives you this amazing perception of Milford Sound from above too. So you get to experience it when nobody's there through the day. You get the drive there, then you get to fly back. So I highly recommend that. Pretty amazing. I do have a small video here which I'll share with you guys. Again, apologies, no sound, but it's just for you guys that have not seen Milford Sound. No matter how many pictures and videos I take, it just never does it quite the justice. Pretty amazing. Look at this. The big difference between Milford and Doubtful, obviously apart from the size, is that Milford has the real sheer dramatic cliffs. Doubtful is still quite dramatic, but not quite the sheer peaks that Milford has. But still just pretty amazing. You just realise when you're in a little boat like this. I mean, that boat's actually quite a decent size, but you just realise how small you are when you're next to these mountains. Cool. And then finally, we'd finish off in Lake Tekapo. It's an incredible spot for stargazing. It's part of the Dark Sky Reserve, which means your clients will see some of the clearest night skies in the world. It's the perfect way to end a romantic getaway, stargazing hand in hand beneath the glittering sky. Often you can see, the southern lights there and obviously the Milky Way. So pretty amazing. So, just as a summary, for a romantic trip, 2 to 3 weeks, these highlights are designed for couples that are seeking, relaxation and stunning landscapes from Wahiki's vineyards to the serenity of Milford Sound. It's all about slowing down and enjoying those special moments together. Shubra.
So here I am, family with teenagers. What should I be doing for adrenaline, adventure, some culture as well for the parents?
The teens that are hard to impress. But no, listen, New Zealand is just the right mix of excitement and culture to keep teenagers entertained. I know we've briefly talked about Auckland previously, but I just want to show because it's a major hub, it's not just for romance couples. It can suit any demographic. And if you are traveling with teenagers or kids, I'd highly recommend the All Blacks experience. This is absolutely amazing. And even if you're not diehard rugby fans, it's interactive, it's hands-on display, gets everyone involved. It's really exciting, it's good fun, and it's just a great way to understand New Zealand's deep love of rugby. You can experience a line out and try around at throwing the ball accurately, and you can even, when you go up in a line out, you can see them do a haka in front of you and just see how intimidating it is. When they do perform this this amazing feature. So yeah, absolutely high recommend. And that's quite a new feature. It's only been open for a few years. So yeah, definitely something that I would recommend doing. And then we've got, after that, we've got Hobbiton, and again, even if you're not massive Lord of the Rings and Hobbit fans, seeing these movie sets is just amazing. Just walking around the picturesque movie set, it's just a magical experience for everyone. For you guys that are fans of it, the Green Dragon Inn, it even serves non-alcoholic ginger beer, so everyone can raise a glass like a hobbit. It's a really cool experience to do. And then Rotorua, again, I know we spoke about Rotorua for the romance side, but there's so much to do in Rotorua, and it is another adventure hub. It's especially for teens. One experience that always gets a good laugh is the zorbing, so you can throw your kids into a giant inflatable ball and just throw them down a hill. It's thrilling, it's hilarious, and it's something they'll never forget. But, there's the luging, there's adventure parks, there's so much they can do in Rotorua as well. Then on to the magic of the south, and we've got the glaciers. So we've got the Franz Josef or the Fox glaciers. And for these, you can do a heli hike, which is doing the heli hike up there is, which is not just exhilarating, but it gives you the chance to explore these incredible frozen landscapes up close. It is a once in a lifetime adventure. And, it's been a few years since I did this. Actually, given my age away here, but I did it in 2008. And when I did the Franz Josef Glacier in 2008, I could hike from the bottom all the way up. But unfortunately, with global warming, you can't actually hike up to the top anymore. So the only way to go there, which is pretty cool, is by helicopter. And the top of the glacier is still absolutely incredible. That's hardly changed at all. It's just a journey up there. But you can sort of see these amazing ice caves and things in which you can get across. So again, doing something like that with teenage kids will be absolutely spellbinding for them. They'll absolutely love that. And finally, no trip to New Zealand is complete without visiting which is well renowned as the adventure capital of the world, Queenstown. So, within Queenstown, for a few guys that have not been, bungee jumps, you've got jet boating, you've got on the shot. This is the world famous Shotover jet. I think Kate and William did this a few years ago when they come to New Zealand. But you've got off-road adventures. You've got skydiving, you've got paragliding, it just never stops. There's so much to do for adventure in Queenstown. My mum, actually, when she was 60, she came over to visit me and we took her to Queenstown. And, my mum's never done anything adventure in her whole life. And she just decided she wanted to paraglide off the top of a mountain. And she was sober as well, which was weird. I was like, are you sure? She just got because she was in Queenstown, everyone was doing this adventure stuff. She just did it. And honestly, she still talks about it to this day. It was probably about 10 years ago and she still talks about it this day. But yeah, that's what Queenstown does to you, so the parents might get involved with that as well. Pretty amazing. So just to summarize, this option is designed for families who want to keep the teens entertained with non-stop adventure, from rugby and movie sets to zorbing in glaciers. It's all about excitement, learning, and making memories that will last a lifetime. Just want to quickly touch on motorhomes. I'm just cautious of time. We don't have time to go fully into this, but one of the most popular ways over probably the last 5 or 10 years of exploring New Zealand is by motorhome, and quite rightly so. It's such an incredible place to explore on your own time zone. If you just want to explore the country, wake up next to Emerald Lakes. See, obviously, you drive on the same side of the road, so the driving's easy over there. And a lot of people, there's only a couple of motorways in New Zealand, and when you're off the motorways, you don't really see anybody. I always think, where's everyone gone? Like, Auckland is so busy, and once you get out of Auckland, the roads just seem to be empty. But the drives are incredible. Every corner you take, there's a gorge, there's a rolling mountain, there's waterfalls. It's just absolutely amazing. And I used to jump in a car and do 4-hour drives to go see travel agents in my job in New Zealand. I used to enjoy the drive. It's quite different now that I get stuck on the M6 or the M62 for 3 hours. It's been quite an adjustment to come back, if I'm being honest with you. But yeah, just such an amazing place to explore. And there's plenty of campsites and things which you can stop along the way. just wanted to quickly show this map. If you are doing your own motorhome or self-drive, this kind of shows you all different stops in the South Island, different ways you can go. So you can see that, when people ask how long would you travel to New Zealand, it's quite hard to answer because it all depends what you want to see. But these are all kind of the roads and the inlets of different areas that you can stop. So sort of gives you a little bit of an idea. So listen, I hope this gives you a taste of what Anzcro can offer for your clients. Remember, this is just a few of the many options available. We tailor every itinerary specific to your client's need, ensuring that they get a truly personalized and unforgettable experience. Obviously, if you have any questions for myself or Shubra, please reach out. I just wanted to show you our brochure range for New Zealand here. So we've got our new New Zealand book, which for you guys that have seen our brochures, we've got a really detailed map in the back. We've got the North Island on one side, the South Island at the back. We've got the driving distances. We've got itinerary planners. It's a really good feature, but it is like the New Zealand Bible. And we have our digital copy of the luxury collection as well. So this is where we can feature a lot of our eco lodges and glamping sites and things like that too. If you guys that have your phones handy, if I could just get you to take them out and just take a quick snap of this. On the left here, you can sign up to our eShot database. So, we're quite proactive with this and we're sending plenty of useful information out. So please sign up for that and we'll make sure you're included with them. And then on the right-hand side there, we've got our travel agents Facebook group. So again, we're very proactive on it. We're often sharing itineraries of the week. We share any competitions that we're currently running on there as well. So please do give us a follow. We've also got the tags for Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube on the bottom as well, if you want to take a picture of them. And just while we're talking about, obviously, competitions, we are working with Tourism New Zealand at the minute, and we've got a really exciting competition. So for any booking made to New Zealand with Anzcro, you'll get a £150 Amazon voucher when the deposit is paid. And that's for bookings between October, so from now up till the 13th of December. It does have to have flights and a minimum of 7 nights accommodation on there, but, a really good excuse to give us a go for booking some New Zealand trips. This is, I don't know if, in fact, is there anything you'd like to add, Shubra, at this point?
No, I mean, really, what we, as you can see from Luke talking, is the passion that we have, and that really infiltrates through our whole team. Everybody's really well traveled and knowledgeable, and we're very fortunate that this is literally one of 3 destinations that all we feature. So we have that real passion and knowledge of ensuring that your clients, because that's what's important to us, and especially being from a family run company, is that your clients have the best kind of holiday experience through New Zealand. So hopefully that's just giving you a little insight into the kind of clientele that you may find, and how you can kind of maneuver and negotiate the right itinerary for them.
Brilliant. We did have another video, but I'm just cautious of time, and I know we don't have any sound.
I mean, this is actually a good time to probably do Q&As if anybody wants to ask us anything.
Hello, I'm back.
Hello.
Thanks so much, guys. That was a fab presentation. Yes, does anyone have any questions? Mostly just people profusely saying what a great presentation it was. There was one a bit higher up. I don't know if we covered off in then, just somebody asking what's the main difference, would you say, between Milford Sound and Doubtful Sound?
Yeah, so I mean, they are completely different. As I mentioned, Doubtful it's 3 times longer and 10 times larger by mass, so it's absolutely huge, and it's just not as commercialized. So it's really hard to get an operator's license within Doubtful Sound. So there's only a handful of operators that do it. So when you do Doubtful Sound, it's a bit of an adventure to get there. So with Milford, you're doing kind of one drive, down Milford Road. It's a beautiful drive, and then you get to Milford Sound. You get an hour and a half of a cruise. You kind of go out to the inlet, and then you just come back. Whereas with Doubtful, it's a bit of an adventure to get there. So from Queenstown or from Tianau, you have to go to a little place called Manapuri, and then you jump on a cruise across Lake Manapuri, which is a beautiful cruise actually as well. And then you get to you have to jump on another coach that takes you through a man-made road, which is past waterfalls, and again it's stunning, and it takes you over Wilmer Pass, and then you board Doubtful Sound. So if you're doing a day trip, you get 3 hours to explore the actual fjord. So they are completely different, and just me being completely honest, is when I used to speak to agents in New Zealand about Milford and Doubtful, if they've got the time, please do see both, because they both offer something different. However, I would always recommend maybe doing Milford first and then Doubtful. But again, that's just my personal preference.
Fantastic. There is one more question. Darryl is just asking, can you take a camper van or car hire between the north and south on a ferry?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, the ferry, there's a couple of ferry operators that go across the Cook Strait, and yeah, they can take vehicles or foot passengers. So either or. So yeah, it's just in the height of summer, it's definitely worth planning ahead and making sure you get them booked as soon as possible.
Okay, fantastic. Anything else to add from you guys, or are you all wrapped up?
We're all good. Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
absolutely.
So thank you for everybody kind of persevering with us. But yeah, hopefully it was worth the wait.
Yeah, it was brilliant. Thanks,
crossed,
guys.
yeah. I just get homesick every time I do it. That's the only thing.
And yes, just to reiterate what you said, thank you very much, viewers, for joining us for the third day of TTG New Zealand Fest, and for persevering with us through the tech issues we've had today, which we're hopefully addressing, and we will be back bright and early tomorrow morning at 9:25 for a comprehensive spotlight on North Island, which will be definitely worth tuning into. And just to remind you as well that you will be able to view the recording of this session if it was one of the ones that you weren't able to watch in the end. Tell your friends, your colleagues. You can watch it back on this platform. If you enter back into this room, it'll be available on demand. So do that. But yes, thank you so much, everyone. And thanks, Shuvra. Oh, let me just check there's no more. Nope, just lots of people. Congratulations. There's no more questions there. But no, that's all great. Thanks so much, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
See you guys. Thank you.
Bye.